carol service. Now, for the sermon, I want to start with a joke. Now, it is said that a preacher is a frustrated comedian. That's not the joke. That's probably reality. But I have a joke for you, and I hope you will find it funny. Of course, it's going to be about the delivery. Let's see how well I can do this joke. This is not my own joke. You'll be pleased to hear. This is from a professional comedian, a guy called Jeff Allen. I believe he's American. It's a clip that I saw, and I thought it was funny. So I'm going to subject it to you as well. As I say, I think it's the delivery that makes this funny. But here we go. Now, I believe that teenagers are God's revenge on mankind. One day, God was looking down over his creation and said, let's see how they like it to create someone in their own image that denies their existence. That was the joke. I hope you found it slightly amusing, maybe funny. But the idea, I guess, of an atheist. And I read an interesting article from 2008. Jarvis Cocker had interviewed, I think it was for the Daily Mail, the scientist and atheist Richard Dawkins. And he admitted that he does celebrate Christmas. And he enjoys singing traditional Christmas carols each festive season. He said, I actually love most of the genuine Christmas carols. I can't bear those ones that make no mention to religion. So what is it about a carol service that we absolutely love? What is it about it that we say, whatever happens this Christmas, one of the things I need to do is sing some carols. And I guess the fact you're watching this, maybe you might be one of those people. Now, I can't answer for an atheist. Why would even an atheist enjoy singing carols? And I can't answer that question for you. But what I'd like to do is just spend a few moments answering that question from my perspective. Why does Jonathan Keir love coming to carol services and singing Christmas carols? For me, the answer is because they speak of the truth. We're going to sing in our carol service, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. And there is some truth in that song. I just want to pick out 4 lines within, as it happens, in each of the 4 different verses that we sing for Hark the Herald. The first one, the first line, it says, that I want to pick up on, is God and sinners reconciled. It tells us the truth for me as a Christian. It tells us that Jesus came to deal with the things that block God's relationship with us. The things that we put in the way that stops God from communicating and being in relationship with us. The Bible uses the word sin. And as that line says, God and sinners reconciled. And I guess there's that admission, isn't there, that if we want a relationship with God, it's first coming and acknowledging and seeing that, do you know what, yes, I do put things that block my relationship with God. God's able to have a relationship with me because things are in the way. And so, yes, I am a sinner. But is that all that God is interested in? Us being sinners. And actually that condemnation and that negativity and that you're worthless, you're useless. Hopefully as we go through, we'll just show that that is not the case. The next line of the second verse is, veiled in flesh, the Godhead see. Do you know, I love some of the language in our carols and if I say the older carols using kind of, use the phrase Old English. I know obviously some carols are not English. about how they use old language, and the beauty sometimes in an old language. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a challenge to work out what are they actually saying. So I did look this one up, and I found this wonderful little phrase. What does veiled in flesh, the Godhead see? Kind of, what does that really kind of mean? And I found somebody had written about it and said, look and see God hidden in human flesh. See God in the person of Jesus. It's a statement about Jesus. The statement is, Jesus is God. One of the truths for me as a Christian that's so important about my faith, the fact it's a Christ I am Christian, is that believing that Jesus is God. Not just an important angel in heaven or one of potentially many sons of God. No, that he is God, but hidden in human flesh. An amazing line there, and one of the truths about and for Christianity. Another line I just want to just mention is in this wonderful carol, Hark the Herald, is light and life to all he brings. I don't know if your head, as I read that through, you're kind of light in life to all he brings, singing it along with me. It's a wonderful, wonderful line again. Now, I don't know what it's like for you if you're going down a dark alleyway and there's maybe objects and things in the way, maybe a pathway you're unfamiliar with through the woods, the tree stumps and roots, all sorts of things going on in the dark. What would make that journey easier, or that passageway easier, is a great big light, a bright light. The unknown of today, the unknown of tomorrow, the unknown for the rest of your life is that it's an unknown. What's going to happen, we do not know as we journey along life's path, so to speak. But to have a bright light showing us the way forward, to see whether tree roots or dustbins or whatever it might be that is in our pathway, in our way, to avoid them, to step over them, to avoid tripping over and causing hurt and injury, is great to have. And here, light and life to all he brings. It's a promise that we can have. If we say, do you know what, Jesus? Yes, I want to be a Christian. I want to be a follower of you. I want you to light my path, to show me the right way to be going. It's not all about condemnation. God isn't a God of always wrath and anger. That here, a wonderful promise that we see that is given to us in this carol at Christmas time, that Jesus wants to light your way, to show you a good way to go. And the last one, for just to draw it out, is it's in the fourth verse. It's a verse actually of Hark the Herald we don't actually normally sing that well. So do look it up when you get home, and when we sing it, you'll be able to see all the words. It says this: to reinstate us in thy love. Now, reinstate, I think, is one of my most favouritists. Yes, I've made up a word. Is one of my most favouritists words to describe my relationship with God. He reinstates me. It's about dealing with my rubbish, but not leaving me there. Taking the relationship back to the Garden of Eden. Can you remember in the garden, in the book of Genesis, the beginning of the Bible, how is that described, that relationship between people, Adam and Eve, and God? There was perfection there before sin came. And the idea that God can reinstate us, take us back to that relationship of the Garden of Eden. I don't know about you, and this is a little bit of an omission of mine, a time to confess, but do you love the programmes Find It, Fix It, Flog It, the Bangers and Cash, or the probably the most famous probably of them all is the Repair Shop? And the idea of taking something that is either maybe old, maybe it's unwanted, it's forgotten, it's a broken item, and it's put into the hands of an expert. And what that expert can do, that master craftsperson can do with sometimes a bit of old rubbish, can make it wonderful and beautiful. It gives it the wow factor. Restoring it, making it useful again. And that's what God does to our lives. He takes us as we are, broken. Maybe you feel like you're on a scrap heap. I don't know where you are and how you feel about yourself. But actually, God can restore you. He's restored. Well, I say restored. He's restoring. I'm not there yet. He's restoring me back to how he first created humans to be. He made creation and he said it is good. He created humans and he said it's very good. You have been made very well by a wonderful, loving creator. And he wants to take you and reinstate you. He wants to restore you. Singing these carols brings truth about who God is and what he is about. But I just want to go a step further. This maybe convince you a little bit further. That was what carols say, in particular Hark the Herald. But what does the Bible say about God? What is he actually like? I want to go to the Old Testament and a book called Hosea. It's chapter 6, verse 6. This particular reading, and the next one I'm going to do as well from Micah, is both from the International Children's Bible. Make it nice and simple for me to understand. And it says this, Hosea chapter 6, verse 6. I want faithful love more than I want animal sacrifice. I want people to know me more than I want burnt offerings. What is God interested in? It's in the being, not the doing. Now, I happen to be married, and if I bought every single day, I come home from work, and every day I bring my wife some chocolates and some flowers. Maybe for the first couple of times it would be wonderful and great. But actually, every time I did that, I then ate my tea and then shot out of the house, whether it be to the pub or to a meeting or to the workshop or whatever, for years and years and years. Every day, flowers and chocolates, and then off. Seeing her for just literally a few moments. And if after many years she came to me and said, you know, Jonathan, I'm really worried about our relationship. Well, what do you mean our relationship is great? I bring you flowers, I bring you chocolates every day. Surely all those gifts that I bring you, that helps our relationship, doesn't it? That's what makes our relationship great. What would you say to me? Hopefully, you would say that I've got it wrong. That it's not about the gifts I give my wife. Now, I'm sure that the occasional flowers and chocolates will help, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's my time. As it says in that verse, what does God want in a relationship with humanity? Faithful love, people to know me more. There's, I think, a real challenge. God is interested in you. And he wants to get to know you as well. Doing things, may what the Bible, the Old Testament would describe as sacrifices and burnt offerings, are of little value if all they are is just a tradition. Things that we've done, so therefore we do them. Well, I bring you flowers, I bring you chocolates. Surely, actually, after a little bit of time, I think my wife would find those worthless. The flowers maybe wouldn't smell so nice. The chocolate wouldn't be as sweet, because the giver is doing it out of duty than wanting to give a real gift out of love. God called his people in that verse from Hosea to have faithful love. There's another part of the Bible, I just mentioned Micah. This is quite a famous verse, Micah chapter 6, verse 8. It says this: "The Lord has told you what is good. He told you what he wants from you. Do what is right to other people. Love being kind to others, and live humbly, trusting your God." God's heart is for the widow, the pauper, and the orphan. And his desire is that his people don't forget them and don't abuse them. In the Old Testament, the reason for Hosea, the reason for Micah and other prophets coming to the people of Israel to tell them is because they turned their backs on God's desires. And they actually did the opposite. But they still would turn up to the temple and they'd carry on as if they had high favor with God. He got the prophets to step in and said those two things. I want faithful love. I want people to know me more than I want burnt offerings. Do what is right to others. Love being kind. Live humbly. Trust in your God. I think that's the same for today as well. Now, I don't know what your view is of God, whether you call yourself an atheist who likes singing traditional carols, or you call yourself a born-again, spirit-filled Christian. Whatever you call yourselves, God's heart has not changed. His passion is still you, and wanting you to know him more. His heart is for the marginalized, the outcast, and the downtrodden. God came to earth as a baby. He didn't come as a mighty king or a great warrior. He came helpless, defenseless, and to a poor family. The hidden God, Jesus. He knows all about living life, about hardship, about loss, about being without. But he made it with his relationship with his parents, his disciples, and of course, most importantly, with his relationship with his Father in heaven. Jesus did, like the prophet Hosea asked. He gave faithful love, and he got to know God as the most important thing to do. I want to leave you with a question. Why do you love singing carols? Amen.